Hi, and welcome back to Alex Talking. I love talking about movies, and one of my favorite filmmakers in the entire history of movies is the pair Ethan and Joel Coen, the Coen brothers. And this past weekend, we got the release of Honey Don't, a new film from Ethan Coen, starring Margaret Qualley, kind of a spiritual successor to Drive Away Dolls, and thought I'd talk about the 20 Coen brothers and three brotherless single filmmaker movies that I have seen from them. So I haven't seen The Man Who Wasn't There. I know that one off the top of my head. I didn't particularly look up which ones I hadn't seen. I just know that's the biggest example in my head that I can think of that I haven't haven't seen. You can tell me based off this list your ranking, and if there's more I haven't seen, if they're really great and what you think of them. I can tell you the only reason I haven't seen The Man Who Wasn't There is just because I haven't had the streaming service it's on or whatever. I just can't find it. Um, because, yeah, I've hunted down everything that these guys have made. Because, yeah, they're right there with Spike Lee and Clint Eastwood, my top three filmmakers. I just really adore these guys. And four of their movies are in my top 50 favorite movies ever, which really puts into perspective, like, no other director has close to that, but I super resonate with them, and they're all so different in their own way, and so I really appreciate these guys. So let's get right into it. Number 20, The Lady Killers. This is the only outright bad movie on this list, and it still has Marlon Wayans saying, "Can't take your bitch to the Waffle House," and that's pretty funny. Tom Hanks is solid in it. It's just not very funny to me. They're just trying to kill this lady to get her house. Hijinks ensue. It's not that it's not memorable, and that's something that these guys really have. Like, this is something that I haven't seen in 5-6 years, and I can remember distinct scenes from it. And there's only 2 movies on this list that I've only ever seen once, and I just straight up don't like. I actually realize, saying that now, there's 20 movies on this list. There's 2 that I've only seen once. 3, actually. Honey Don't just came out. I've only seen that once. But otherwise, there's 2 that I haven't seen more than once, which puts into perspective to me how much I enjoy these guys' movies. And this is one of them, and I would never really choose to watch this again. It's just, yeah, not funny to me. Number 19 is a movie that's okay. Sorry about that stutter there. It is not bad, so much so as it's really mean-spirited as a romantic comedy. Intolerable Cruelty. I just did not find this one to be enjoyable, but it's not bad in the way that I found Lady Killers to just be not very good. This is fine, and if people like it, I'd be like, yeah, totally get that. It's kind of in the same ballpark as what will be at number 17, 2 spots higher than this, in that if you told me this was top 10, I'd be like, okay, I guess. I just don't see it at all because it's not my sort of sensibilities. This one is just more forgettable and mean-spirited, but in a way that could actually be funny on a rewatch. I have not seen this since at least 2020, so I'd love to check that out again too. Coming at number 18, we're at Honey Don't, the new one. I thought this was okay. It is not nearly as good as what you would hope a Coen brother would be making, I guess is why it is such a sour taste in the mouth. But overall, I thought that it was perfectly watchable as a modern day lesbian noir comedy. It's silly in that sense, and it made me laugh at times. Once every 4 jokes. That's not the worst percentage I've ever seen. It could definitely be worse, and it had a fun ending. If you told me you thought it was the biggest piece of dog shit you've seen all year, I'd say I absolutely believe you. But I was not in the mood to hate an Ethan Coen movie the day I saw it. I was in the right headspace. I thought it was alright. Coming in at 17, Burn After Reading. Burn After Reading is the same ballpark as Intolerable Cruelty, but much better because it has much funnier performances, namely Pitt, of course. Brad Pitt is a titan in this, so funny. Malkovich is hilarious in it too, though. And they always know how to get good stuff out of Frances McDormand. It's just a little bit like cheating the movie. So it's not my type of bag. And I don't like any of the characters, which is something that I usually don't have a problem with when people say, "Oh, I couldn't get into it because I don't like any of the characters." Like I've heard people say that about like The Prestige or something. I'm like, that's a little silly. That's not necessarily the point. And while here, that's also not necessarily the point. I completely understand that argument now because it's just a movie I can't fully get into because outside of Brad Pitt, who doesn't get enough to do in my opinion. Like I wish he was in it more. If they focused on him more, I would definitely see this being one of my favorite Coen brothers because he's such a great Coen protagonist. But as he's a supporting character, some of like the weight issue and infidelity issue, your old issues, just aren't as funny to me as other hijinks in Coen's movies, but still a very good movie. Coming in at 16, The Tragedy of Macbeth. I got to see this at the Harrisburg Midtown Cinemas with my buddies whenever I was in high school, and I was really into Macbeth. I'm not a theater kid, but I just really like Shakespeare, and I used to not really be able to read it all, but I could really read Shakespeare. And it was a really strange thing. And I like Macbeth and Hamlet a lot. And whenever they said that Coen was going to be doing this, I was like, wow, sign me up. I cannot wait. I was there day one. Drove through a snowstorm with the buds to see it. William fell asleep. But I really enjoyed it. I really think that Denzel and Franny just kind of make this their own here. It's just given them so much to work with and chew on, and rather than elevating it in a way that I hate to say it, but maybe someone like Kenneth Branagh does a little better, I think that this was almost reserved in such a respectful manner to truly be a beautiful visual feast to let Denzel and Frances McDormand work with some of the best material they can have and didn't add any sort of Coen flair to it. The witches were amazing. Not it didn't add any sort of Coen flair writing wise. Visually, it's stunning. So I think this is one of the better Shakespeare adaptations ever. And I really, really think that the two performances just, of course, do make it absolutely worth watching. Coming in at 15, Blood Simple. Their first movie. Really fun little thriller. Sam Raimi was involved with it, which is always fun to be like, yeah, these were just a bunch of really wonderfully creative dudes in the 80s having a ball. And it is so well made for that early in a filmmaker's career. It is so well done. Wonderfully dark. I think of sequences like the light shining through the room while Frances McDormand's in there, and like the way her eyes are looking at it and the shadows. Just really cool lighting, really great visually, and a solid little thriller story. Coming in at 14, this one's really warmed up on me over time. Since I first saw it, it really disappointed me, and I've watched it probably 3 or 4 times, and me and my fiance actually really enjoy it, so that's probably made me love it even more. But it's The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Yeah, another one, and this goes back to, this is such a stupid diatribe to say right now, but I'm currently rewatching the Saw franchise. I just finished Saw 2, and I used to hate the Saw franchise, like, as a gimmick, because whenever I was in high school, I had a real issue with something being, like, that mean-spirited, and I just rewatched the first Saw, and mind you, it's the 4th time I've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times, and my rating always was in between, first time I gave it, like, 1.5 or 2, and then bumped up to 2.5, and then 3 on a third watch. I was like, yeah, this is fine. And then I really, really enjoyed the first Saw yesterday. Saw 2 is still just fine. But also, like, I hated Saw 2 when I first saw it. Despised it a second time when my friends in college wanted to watch it. And then last fall, I watched it with my parents on cable and was like, it was fine. It's kind of fun, actually. The Saw fandom makes me want to like Saw. So then I'm like, I can see how this is fun. Donnie Wahlgord's hilarious in this. Tobin Bell is just genius. So I was like, I can accept this as solid, even though Saw 2 is not necessarily my favorite. I started to get on board, and now I rewatch it, and I'm like, this is still definitely not my favorite, but I fully do realize I think I like the Saw franchise. That was a silly little diatribe to say that I used to really have an issue with things I considered mean spirited. And now I rewatched The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, something that had really aggressive violence, and at the time I took as being too dark and too bleak for me. Like I think of obviously the one with Liam Neeson and the kid with no arms, but every time I rewatch, I just like it more. I love the atmosphere that it establishes and that permeates throughout all the different stories and how wonderfully unique it is throughout every step of the way. So Ballad of Buster Scruggs only gets better over time. Number 14 on the list. Number 13. This will put into perspective how much I was disappointed by Honey Don't. Drive Away Dolls. I think that Drive Away Dolls is my favorite movie that either of these guys have made alone by a long shot, because this is honestly getting into 5-star territory now. I know we're at 13, but it's to Coen, so I don't have to shy away from saying that I've given this a 5-star in Letterboxd like the first 3 times I saw it. It just makes me laugh out loud. I was laughing in the theater like I was De Niro in Cape Fear. There was nobody else laughing when I first saw this movie at the AMC in Pittsburgh. There was a ton of people there, nobody laughing, and I was just dying laughing. Honey Don't, I did not laugh nearly as much throughout, but thankfully other people were chuckling here and there. But Driveway Dolls, I was like the only dude laughing, but I was having a ball, and I think it's hilarious every time I watch it. Margie's great. I think her and Geraldine, I forget that girl's last name. I'm sorry, but I remember your first name. I think the leads of this movie are great together. Beanie Feldstein as the cop is, like, not to throw shade at Aubrey Plaza, but because they're playing very much so the similar lesbian, will they, won't they, police officer in the movie. I like Beanie Feldstein a lot more. She has a lot more energy to her and is a lot funnier. And it just all worked together with Coleman Domingo and all the other little side characters and actors you get. Worked a lot better than Honey Don't for me, personally. Number 12, Miller's Crossing. I think that this is a great movie. I have the criterion of it, and it's a beautiful one to watch the supplements of, as well as the just restorations. The such a visually striking movie of time and place, captured so well as a period piece and of that time, as well as being so many great shots of like Americana forestry, which really does it for me. So that's what I appreciate from Miller's Crossing more than the fantastic Gabriel Byrne performance that you have to appreciate. And I forget his name, but he's a bigger fella, a character actor. And let me see if I can find it here real quick. Because he really gives a great performance in that movie. He is a kid actor. No, I can't find his name. I'm sorry. I don't want to waste that much time doing this. But I think that the young kid and his dad are absolutely great in this movie. If you know what I'm talking about and you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, you've seen it. If not, don't worry. You'll see it one day. Coming in at 11, Barton Fink. Hilarious. John Goodman being in beast mode Coen form, which is my favorite. Obviously, Walter from Big Lebowski, as well as Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and Inside Llewyn Davis. Whenever John Goodman just gets to be a force of nature, a brilliant, giant storm of chaos that comes out of nowhere and wrecks the protagonist in the middle of their odyssey, that's my favorite. And Barton Fink has a great one of those. So I think of that fire. I think of how great Totoro is in this, obviously. The most prominent starring role he's ever gotten. Nobody knows how to use him like the Coens, as well as Oh Brother, Big Lebowski, you know, all the stuff I said with John Goodman, but this is the best Totoro performance, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, how could it not be? He is the vessel for which the movie is told. Coming in at 10, A Serious Man. This movie, another one where it's just like taking this amazing character actor, Michael Stuhlbarg, giving him the lead of the movie, telling such a fun, unique Minnesotan story, and I think that it is one of the funniest Coen movies in terms of its bleakness and balancing that in a really quirky, charming way, which is why we go to these movies and why they're the funnest filmmakers and why it's okay that they handle dark subject matter because they do have a way of making it funny most of the time, and this is a great example of that. And the ending is terrific. Coming in at 8, no, 9. Sorry, looked at that wrong. 9, Fargo. I know, that feels weird to say. Fargo at 9. Um, yeah, it's great. I watched this with my mom growing up all the time. It's one of her favorites. Uh, Another great Minnesotan up in the north woods type of thriller that they just do so well. I love those slice of life, middle America thriller jeans movies where everyone's in jeans and giving a great performance. And this one's got a great underbelly to it with some really horrifically dark violence. And that always shook me up as a kid, obviously. And that's kind of what I remember this movie for. Is just that it always gives me this weird feeling of, oh, that is horrific violence. That's not violence I take any pleasure in watching or any enjoyment out of, like a horror movie. I'm like, that is just gratuitous and disturbed. And I appreciate it for that. Coming in at 8, this might be a hot take to have this right above Fargo, but it's my truth, and I've seen this movie so many times that it is just Hell Caesar. I think Hell Caesar is fantastic. So funny. Alden Ehrenreich, Ray Fiennes, Clooney, all at great comedic peaks here. The No Dame sequence with Channing Tatum is awesome, and it's just really great late Hollywood noir. You know, what Brolin's doing is great. Coen's, and they just capture the vibe and the period so well and tell such a funny, silly story with the way things go with Clooney in it. So I really recommend Hell Caesar. Coming at 7, a movie everyone probably has seen. Raising Arizona was another one that felt super weird to only have at 7. After how many times I've seen it. This is a family staple. My uncle loves it. And my mom also really enjoys this one. It is just a great Nicolas Cage performance. John Goodman, very young here, doing the same thing with William Forsythe, who is one of my favorite Rob Zombie routine players. So seeing him show up in it is really funny. And the baby. Gotta love the baby. And Holly Hunt. Yeah. Great cast in this movie. And the way things go in the third act, the guy that comes and the way things explode is peak. The diaper sequence is one of the best things that they've ever done in their career. And when I think of the Coens kind of being fully born and emerging as like a voice in American film, is kind of the diaper sequence in Raising Arizona is how I picture that. Coming in at 6, I'm just going to say their most underrated movie, because these top 5 I think are all very well appreciated. But number 6 is The Hudsucker Proxy, an easy 5-star, one of the best of the 90s. Paul Newman is just so full of life and energy here, and he's one of my favorite actors. Tim Robbins and Jennifer Jason Leigh are awesome in this. Just such a fun goofball, kind of like Tucker, the Man in His Dream type Coen comedy. And I think that this is one everybody should watch. You can watch at a young age and just really appreciate the fun, the ups, the downs. And it's a very just good-hearted whimsy Coen. I've had it on DVD for a long time, and I've lent it to a lot of people because it is just, I think, an easy recommend. Anyone, I think, would enjoy this movie, but so few, like, normal people. I know probably a lot of people in the film community have seen it, but so few people have ever actually been like, have you ever seen The Hudsucker Proxy? No. So I always try to give it to people because it's a great one and just so underseen. So have to shout out Hudsucker because it is so funny. Coming in at 5, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? just another family classic. When I think of how many of these movies have been playing on my TVs at my grandma's, aunts, uncles, and parents' house since I was a kid, it's crazy. Oh Brother is awesome. It's the Odyssey. Let's see if Chris Nolan can top it, but definitely just such a unique movie in its own right with the Soggy Bottom Boys and where things go with the sirens and the toads and the John Goodman of it all, with him catching that thing when it gets thrown at him in the air and then turn it around. Oh, he is in full beast mode Goodman here. The ending goes off the rails, keeps going off the rails, keeps going, keeps going. The flood, it's all amazing. It's all amazing. Absolutely love Oh Brother. Coming in at 4, True Grit. Absolutely love True Grit. One of my favorite westerns ever. It's the type of thing where it's like, yeah, The Searchers is brilliant. And, what did I just watch? I can't remember the John Ford movie was it Stagecoach? No, I gotta look now. I'm going on my letterbox, y'all, because I gotta know what this movie is. Because it's one of the best things I've seen all year long, honestly. So I just want to shout that out too. Let's see here. Wagon Master. That's what it is. If you haven't seen Wagon Master, it's one of the best westerns I've ever seen. But True Grit is my favorite western. Right there with Django. I know they're the modern ones, but I'm like, they don't make these anymore. And right there with Unforgiven, these are the best ones that have been done in the past 30 years because they're just modern filmmakers at the height of their powers going one last go at making one of the most beautiful and brilliant genres come to life with such... It's amazing how a Western can just effortlessly be great because of how lush the scenery is. And if it's done well, it just heightens your movie even more. And that's what I get out of True Grit. It's always been a fun little, like, October to December part of the year. Snuggle up with a pizza and a blanket after a football game and enjoy True Grit type of movie. Coming in at 3, and these top 3, oh my gosh, what a top 3 for any filmmaker to have. What a top 5, what a top 10. Number 3, No Country for Old Men. Their Best Picture winner, and it got Best Supporting Actor for Anton Chigurh, Javier Bardem. And this is just one of the most thrilling cat and mouse, who will lick whom, first type of movies, and with a great, great ending that only gets better with time. The older you get, the more mature you get. I realize that that ending is so poignant and so powerful, and the way every character ends, there's no clean getaways. And whether that's lying dead in the street, or whether that's not being able to sleep after a 60-year career and retiring and never letting it not haunt you for a day, that sort of thing really rings true. And I really, really enjoy this movie. Coming in number 2, Inside Llewyn Davis. I got to see this in a theater in a double feature with my number 1 last year, which obviously is The Big Lebowski. If you've seen or known me or heard me talk about movies, followed me for any amount of time, The Big Lebowski is my favorite movie of all time. Of course, it's number 1. But I got to see Inside Llewyn Davis in a double feature with it for Coen Week at the Row House Lawrenceville in Pittsburgh last year. And they only show 4 classic movies every week there. It's the best movie theater in America, probably. They're themed classic movies, and I was so blessed that they chose, of these 4 movies, 2 of my favorite movies, which are 2 of my top 10 favorite movies ever. There's a time where Inside Llewyn Davis will always get onto my Letterboxd favorites list for a period of the year whenever it's just that right time of the winter season, and all I can do is think about Llewyn Davis, and seeing it in theaters was just amazing. Oscar Isaac is an actor that, like, fully is this role to the degree that whenever I see him in anything else, I do just completely think of him as Llewyn Davis, which is funny because some people think of, like, superhero actors when they see them in movies, and I really don't. Or some people think of, like, probably Star Wars when they see Oscar Isaac, but I just see Llewyn Davis. It's very hard for me to see him as anything else because this is just one of the defining characters of this like generation of film to me, and one of the great stories of just smiling in the face of adversity, or more so frowning and bitching your way through it until you are so worn down that all you can do is just keep going, because even in the end he throws up that au revoir and smiles, and he'll keep going despite what, man? Can't even get off that highway. Can't even get off that highway. Yeah, so much to be said about that movie. So much powerful stuff in one movie. So much to be said, and get like felt like they were getting off their chest about as much as success can be great, how much more brutally exhausting and crushing failure can be. But coming in number one, yeah, is Big Lebowski. This is just so funny. Sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes, well, you know, the bar eats you. This has been my favorite movie for quite a time now. I always wish I watched it before I did. I watched it for the first time in like 2017, and I was only like 13 or 14. But even then, I'm like, where has this been all my life? This is my favorite movie because it's the best movie character ever. The dude is just so awesome to follow for a movie, and the fact that it exists is kind of like a smiley face with Anna Faris. It's like, it's amazing that this movie even exists for me to just experience a certain amount of time in the life of such an amazing character. That's why movies and writing and all that exists, and this fully encapsulates that for me. So that is why it is number one. Really ties the whole filmography together. How could I not say that? Let me know your Coen ranking down below, what your favorites are, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you go see Honey, Don't Like It, and you have a great day. God bless.